Hi, this is Chris Kengut with the AFL-CIO Digital Strategies Department. We can't wait to get you started on your new UnionHall website tool. This training is going to focus on creating articles and featured stories. Let's focus our attention down here in the right-hand corner. First, make sure you're logged in. You'll see your name up here. In the lower right-hand corner, we have this Create button. And I told you earlier that this Edit button will mainly edit the page that you're on. But the Create button will let you actually add new content. So whether it's an action, article, basic page, biography, event, or promo, you can create that here. We're going to focus on creating an article. Now, I mentioned earlier that when you first log in, you're going to see a lot of articles already populated on your website. And that's because the AFL-CIO syndicated stories to you so that you'd have stories ready to go as soon as you logged in, and you can really get a feel for what your site was going to look like. But now that you're logging in yourself, you can start adding your own content. And you can either replace our content or keep a combination, however you're ready to do it. But first, you need to hover over the Create option, the icon here, or button, and then the menu bar, select Create Article. Creating an article, you'll find, is going to be very simple. There's really two main steps to it: the title and the body. You can either type it in here directly if you want to, or you can write it in a Word or a Word document or a Google Doc if you want, and then move it over. When I work on my demo, I usually use the AFL-CIO's blog just because it's a great source of content. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this. So imagine if you typed up a Word document or a Google Doc, you'd have it saved. You would just come over and copy it and then paste it into the tool, just as I'm doing. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab the story. Got to grab it there. And I'm going to paste that in as well. And again, you could just type this straight in. Now, it's up to you if you type it in. One of the nice things about this tool just generally is that we really try to help guide organizations with best practices. And the WYSIWYG, the web editor, is really going to help do that. It's going to strip out some of your bad code and really make your fonts use common fonts, and so that your sites look nice and clean. But you do have some options here: bold, italicize, strike. And what strike means is instead of deleting content, you could strike it through so that you're showing your audience that you're not going to delete something if you made a mistake, but you're going to show them, you know, the history that the mistake was there, and then you edited it as you got more information and were able to update it. So feel free to use the strike option, bullets, italicize, left and right, justification here. You can add links, and we know how to do that. We simply highlight content and then click on the link and then type in the URL to where you want it to go to. There is a separate the teaser. That simply means the teaser means keep the paragraph you want on the home page, and the rest of it will fall on the next page when you open up the whole story. But you don't have to actually do that necessarily. The tool will do it for you. But if there is a very specific place you want that break to be, you can certainly use this break option. Toggle to a full screen if you need it. This is your spell check. You can upload an image here or video, and then you can hide the toolbar if you wanted to. So that's just the WYSIWYG bar, and here's the content. Now, if you want to make this a featured image, and let me just show you what that means, what the featured image means. Let me get back here to my home page. The featured image is one of the images at the top here, one of the stories at the top of the site. There's a very specific way to do it. Other stories will fall below that. But if you want to keep something at the top here, it's a featured story. The one area that you should upload your image is the featured image. And it could be an image or a video. If you use this option, it won't be a featured image. And it won't be in that featured image section. And if you use this option to upload from your media gallery, a video or an image, again, it will not be in that top section. So make sure, if it's an important story that you want to make sure is highlighted up here in one of the featured image area, make sure you use the featured image option. So now that I have my story here and my title, I'm going to go ahead and browse for images. First, I need to save this image. I'm going to right-click my mouse on the image, and I'm going to save image as, and I'm going to save it here. Now, just as a reminder, I'm right-clicking because I work at the AFL-CIO. This is our blog. I know that I have access to this image. But just know that when you right-click and save an image, only do it to things where you feel confident you have copyrights to. So, for instance, if you're on the New York Times or a local newspaper, don't grab their images because you're not actually allowed to do that. So make sure it's an image that you have access to. So let's go back to my story. Now that I've saved my image, I'm going to come over here to the featured image. I'm going to click Browse. Now it's going to open up, and I have this, and this will be really simple. I could just grab my image. But there's some additional options over here. I'm going to come back to this in just a minute, but I just want to show you other ways that you can grab files. Right now it's asking me to choose image. I can't tell you when I was first learning this tool how many times I would click upload before I figured out I needed to do this first. So first you have to choose your file, that's your image. And this is the one we grabbed from the website. And now that it's here, another thing I would do wrong is I would come down here and click this publish, when really what I needed to do is click this next button. If you come down here, you'll lose this work. So you have to do it all over again. So make sure you click this button. On some browsers, it looks different. So there's the name of my image. I can add alt text. Alt text means that whenever you have an image, let's just go back here and see if there's alt text on this. Yeah. So notice that there's language that kind of comes up across it. That serves two big purposes. The first purpose is if somebody is visually impaired, their computer would actually read that to them so that they would know that there's an image and that it was the Federal Reserve and this was about black unemployment. So it would help someone who couldn't see that picture know what was there. The other purpose that it serves is that every single time somebody types in these sort of tagged words, it also allows search engines to search on these images. And so it might be an easy step that sometimes people skip, but just remember, you're actually tagging your image so that you're actually tagging your image so that later search engine would very easily be able to find that image and sort of know what to serve if somebody's searching on these keywords. So it's an important step. Sorry, excuse me. Title. Next, you can give the image a title if you want to. I'll just give it the same thing as up here. And I'm going to save. So now I've got, it says it must have cropping, so I'm going to crop. It's warning me that my image is big, so it really wants me to crop that image, or that it's going to crop it for me, which is totally fine if it crops it for me. I don't mind. In fact, I'll just save it. It's going to crop it for me. That's fine. Now, again, I use this featured image option, but I could have uploaded an image here, and I could have uploaded an image there. If you find that your featured story isn't showing up in the featured story section and you're not sure why, this is the one area I would double check first, is where did you add your featured image? You might have to delete your story and start again to get that featured image up there. Another option you have is, there's some options down here. You can add related content, add media library. Again, we've already done that, but you could add some more photos at this point. Add snippets from other tools and stories, add text. There's also the syndication feature, and I'm just going to tell you what this is because you'll probably be curious. The syndication feature is sites that are above you, like state feds, ALF, AFL-CIO, or if you're a local union, it might be your national or state organization or regional. They can syndicate content down to you just like we already can in LaborWeb. And we are going to do that, and we already have. When you first log in, you'll see that syndicated content. And we do that as really as a content service. We want to make sure that you have updated content that's relevant, that's on point, on message. I mean, I've seen sites where there's, I think the other day when I was cleaning up some old sites, I saw something from 2009 on the home page. So we really want to make sure that local sites have the ability and quick access to really good updated content. And so it's a service, but you have a lot of control over that. You can delete those stories, you can archive them, you can edit them. or you can use them as much as you want to keep those on your site. But just know that we're going to be doing that on a regular basis. And so you might see this, and these are, how you syndicate is you choose those tags, and you're able to syndicate below you if you have sites below you. If you don't, there's nowhere to really syndicate. So it's really coming down. It's not going up. So now that my story is done, and it's in the shape that I want it to, I'm going to go ahead and publish. Here it is. And if I go to my home page, I just simply click on my title here to go to the home page. And I scroll down. Here's my story. And if I click on that, I can come in, and here's the whole story and the image. I can also pin this to the top. And what pin to the top means, and I'll go ahead and pin this one to the top, and I'll add another story to show you. What pin to the top means is that, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this, is that let's say you had a really important story, or maybe there was a big event coming up and you wanted to highlight it here, and you didn't want news stories to push it down or push it to the side, because stories will basically filter through. They'll come here next, and then it'll come down here next into the news area, and it'll work its way out. And if I jump over here to the news site, same thing. I can see some images, some stories here, and then they'll kind of work their way down and out. But if I really wanted to keep something at the top because it's really important for a few weeks, you can pin it to the top so that other stories, when they get added, whether they're syndicated from us or whether it's something you add, it won't move this story. It'll keep it there. So I just went ahead and pinned this to the top, and I just simply did that by clicking pin. And I can unpin it later when I'm done with it. So now let's go ahead and add another story. First I need to make sure that I'm on my home page. I'm going to click this link here to go home. I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to create an article. And this time I'm going to use a video. So let's go over here to the AFL-CIO's videos. And I'm going to grab, let's see, Elizabeth Warren. So let's go ahead and grab this from the Raging Waves. So one of the nice things about this new tool is that in the past when you had a video, you had to do certain things to make sure it was going to fit properly on your site. But in this case, you really just have to grab the link, and I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just write, this is what I'll call the title. Oops. I'll bring that back. I'm going to put the title here, and I'll just put it here again. And now I'm going to go ahead over here to the featured image. And the reason why I'm going to use the featured image instead of these other areas where I could grab media and put it on my story is because I really want it to show up in the featured image section. But this time, instead of choosing my file, I'm going to come over here to web. And let me just walk through what these other ones are. My files, once you upload an image, it'll be in the My Files section. So you can always find your older images as you need them. And you can search on them by different things and sort. Library, eventually we're going to get to the point where we've uploaded the AFL or a national union has uploaded a library of images that you can use, and that'll come in handy for you. So my files are files that you've uploaded. Library will be files that we've uploaded. Upload is just a new document the new image that you want to upload. But web is going to be specific to a website. And in this case, the website is, this video lives on YouTube. It's being hosted by YouTube. And if I bring the URL over here, it's still going to live on the web on YouTube. It's going to be applied to. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. I really don't want this font, so let's see if there's a way I can edit that. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but actually I know what I can do here. I like to clean up I always have my notepad open to help me clean things quickly and easily. Oops, do it again. Well, anyway, I'll come back to that later. All right, so anyway, at this point, I can also pin it to the top down here if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And now I'm going to go to the home page. And if I scroll down, now remember that I pinned this story to show you an example. I pinned this one. So instead of Elizabeth Warren bumping this story over, this one was pinned here, and so now the Elizabeth Warren story is to the right. I don't really love the size font here, so I'll do a more advanced training later on content and how to add stories, and we'll get into deeper into like how you do some of these things. But this at least is a really good example of messy content and how I can kind of change your site a little bit, like it pushed this down, made it bigger, which we don't really want. We want these to be nice and clean. So I'll come back later and I'll show you how to fix that in another more advanced training on this. But for the meantime, if I posted this here first and then pasted it into my WYSIWYG, it would have been clean, but because I did it the other way around, the code's already there. So anyway, we'll clean that up in a little bit. But for the most part, you get the point. This is how you do the featured stories and videos. You really got to make sure you use that featured option. Otherwise, they come down here, which is okay too. It's on your site. And then they'll kind of move their way out. And when you're ready to archive a story, like let's archive this one, a little bit big here, it's test. I can come over here and in this corner, I can just simply click. So I have to be on this page. You got to make sure you're on the right page. I want this to go away. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on archive this, and it's going to confirm that I really want to archive it. So are you really sure you want to? I'm going to say archive this. And now that story is going to be gone if I come here and click on it. So I'm not going to delete that story. I'm just going to simply archive it. And that way it's no longer on my site, but I still have access to that story later. And that concludes how to create an article. And that hopefully will help get you started. You can start playing around with that. And please, if you have any questions at all, we'd love to hear your questions. We're creating a frequently asked questions document, so we'd love to hear some things that you come up against that you're curious about. Send us your emails at UnionHall@aflcio.org. That's UnionHall.